the first part of our activities today is a meditation. And I'll just give a little bit of introduction and then we'll begin. So this is a monthly event. Once a month we have a Sharing the Dharma Day. And the activities are based on a book which is called An Open-Hearted Life, written by Venerable Children and Russell Colts, a Western psychologist. And the book is all about how to develop compassion. So each month we go through a different chapter. And so Venerable Children will come and give a talk at 11. But for this first hour, 45 minutes, we'll do some meditation. And the meditation we'll do today is related to the topic of last month's talk. And that was on chapter 67, going quite quickly through the book. So chapter 67 is entitled Small Acts of Compassion Can Have Big Results. So we'll do a meditation today related to that. So compassion is a really important element of Buddhist practice and Buddhist thought. And it's explained as the attitude or state of mind where we wish everyone to be free of suffering. And it's something we already have. For example, when we notice someone we care about is looking unhappy, or maybe they're in pain, not feeling well, then we naturally feel something in our heart. We feel moved, we feel touched, and we want to do something to help them, to relieve them of their suffering. And we can sometimes feel it even for strangers, like when we're watching TV, we hear news about people suffering in different places, or we just see somebody in our community who looks unhappy, looks like they have a difficult time. So then that feeling of compassion can arise. And it's related to empathy, which is a kind of inbuilt capacity that we have to know how another person is feeling. So even animals, it's found, even animals have empathy. They can understand when someone else is having a hard time, in pain or sick or unwell or whatever. And so when empathy is triggered, and we also have this sort of natural understanding that other people don't want to suffer, don't want to have pain and unhappiness and difficulty, just as we do. And just as we would like someone to help us when we're having a hard time, then we understand that others feel that way as well. So it's a natural capacity. Empathy and compassion are natural qualities that we have. And in Buddhism, there are methods we can use to increase our compassion so that we can feel compassion for more and more people, more and more beings, and more often. And it's really wonderful how in recent years Western scientists and psychologists and so forth have taken an interest in compassion, have done research on it, and their findings are very positive. They can see that when people have compassion, they experience a lot of benefit, both for their health, physical health, as well as their ability to interact with others, have good relationships with others, and so on. And so various training programs have been developed to teach people compassion in a secular way, not necessarily connected with any religious tradition. So this is really wonderful, that there is this growing interest in compassion, both on the side of educators teaching people how to have more compassion, and on the side of people wanting to have more compassion. And so that's really what this book is all about, An Open-Hearted Life. It contains advice and methods for increasing compassion, both from the Buddhist tradition and also from Western psychology. So, chapter 67, which was the subject of last month's Sharing the Dharma Day talk, talks about how we may think that in order to be compassionate, we have to do big things like Mother Teresa or the Dalai Lama. But that isn't necessarily the case. I mean, of course, if we can do big things like they do, then that's great. But there's lots of little things that anybody can do in their life on a daily basis that can be of benefit to others. Even just smiling at people, being friendly, helping people when they're maybe trying to carry something heavy, or as Venerable Children mentions, putting in a new roll of toilet paper when you've just used up the last bit. That's a little thing you can do, and you can do it anonymously. Nobody has to know you did it, but it can be very beneficial to the next person who uses that toilet. So there's lots of little things we can do in our daily life that are expressions of kindness and compassion and that benefit others. So the point is that if we, just pay attention to people around us and be on the lookout for ways in which we can be beneficial to others, we should be able to find many opportunities to do that. And it's good for ourselves. We feel better, we feel happier, and it's also good for others. So we'll do an analytical meditation, a reflective meditation on that theme. But first, there's some prayers that we recite. Again, if you're new, you don't have to recite the prayers. They'll be up on the screen. You can join if you wish. But they're to help us get into a good state of mind before we begin the meditation. And then we'll sit silently for 10 or 15 minutes to settle down. I'll give some instruction for those who may be new to meditation. A simple way of meditating is paying attention to your breathing coming in and going out. And then, for the last 15 minutes or so, we'll do an analytical meditation on this theme, and I'll be mentioning things for you to think about and then giving you time to do that. So that's the procedure.
I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free of suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings not be separated from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment, and anger. Tayata Om Mune Mune Maha Mune Soha. 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 Tayata Om Mune Mune Maha Mune soha.
So in our Tibetan Buddhist tradition, our teachers always advise us to have a positive motivation or intention for the things that we do, especially related to spiritual practice, like meditation, learning the Dharma, and so on. So, some of you are familiar with the motivation of bodhicitta, or the mind of enlightenment. This is the aspiration to follow in the Buddha's footsteps and become enlightened, just like the Buddha, so that we can benefit all other beings. So if you're familiar with that and comfortable with that, you can bring that into your mind as your reason or motivation for being here and participating in the activities of this day. If you're not familiar with the bodhicitta motivation, then you might be comfortable just having a motivation like, I want to help others as much as I can. I want to help the world. So may I learn something here today that will help me to be more beneficial to others and to the world. So that's just a suggestion, but you can use your own thoughts, your own words to generate a positive motivation that takes into account not just yourself and your own happiness, but the happiness and well-being of others as well. And then it's good to be as relaxed as possible when we do meditation. So probably some of you were busy this morning doing things, getting ready to come here, and then coming here. And so let's take a few minutes to just make sure our body is as relaxed as possible. So first, do a scan of your body. Just go from the top of your head down to your toes, or the other way, you can go from your toes up to the top of your head. And just be on the lookout for any tension, places of tension in your body. Often we carry tension in our shoulders or back or neck, or maybe other areas of the body. If you do notice tightness, tension in any place, then you can just put your awareness at that point and encourage yourself to relax. Let go of that tension. Just let it melt and flow away. So you may not have been able to let go of all tension, but just be content with whatever you were able to do, and just try to remain as relaxed as possible for the remaining time that we're meditating. So now we'll have some time for silent meditation. If you already know of a meditation practice that you'd like to do, you can do that. Otherwise, relatively simple basic practice of meditation is watching the breath coming in and going out. And so this involves placing your mind, your awareness, your attention on the process of breathing, and just trying to stay with that as much as you can, being aware as the breath is coming in and then as the breath is going out, one breath after another, as well as any pauses in between one breath and another, or in between the in-breath and the out-breath. So just keeping your mind, your awareness focused, concentrated on whatever sensations you notice that are kind of predominant as your breath is coming in and going out. So it's not a very difficult thing to do in one sense, but in another sense it is difficult because we normally don't stay with one thing for very long. Our mind has the habit, the tendency of jumping from one thing to another. And so you probably notice that, after a few seconds of watching your breath, then you might start thinking about other things or being distracted by sounds, wondering what that noise is, and so on. So this is completely normal. Don't be surprised or upset if it happens. And what we need to do is learn to come back to the breath whenever the mind goes away from it. So as soon as you've noticed that your mind is no longer paying attention to the breathing, but is paying attention to something else, a thought, a memory, or plans for what you're going to do later, whatever, or a sound in the room, anything other than the breath, then just say to yourself, no, not now, I'll take care of that later, and come back to the breath. And we need patience with ourselves. We can't kind of force ourselves to stay single-pointedly focused. We just have to do the best we can and then be kind and patient to ourselves if our mind keeps wandering away. So just patiently bring your mind back to the breath every time it wanders away. And one thing that can help is, as you're doing this, to say to yourself, breathing in, breathing out, 1, breathing in, breathing out, 2, and so on. Count up to 5 if you're relatively new to meditation, or up to 10 if you're more experienced. So the counting can help you stay more aware, more focused on your breathing. So now for the analytical part of the meditation, let's start by thinking of ways that others have been kind to us. So think back over last week, the things you did, places you went, people you met, and so on. And see if you can recall any acts of kindness that others did for you. Maybe somebody offered to help you with some task that you had to do, or you were feeling kind of down, sad, or anxious, and someone noticed and asked if you were okay and if they could help you. Or people just being friendly, smiling at you, talking to you, showing friendliness, kindness. So just remember as many of those experiences as you can from last week. And now travel further back in time and bring to mind other incidents in your life where someone was kind and helpful to you, especially when you really needed it. So feel free to go as far back as you like, even to your childhood. And as you remember these acts of kindness, check how they affected you. They probably made you feel good, and some of them may have impacted you in even bigger ways. And now spend some time recalling things you have done for others. That can be people, or animals, or even insects, out of kindness and compassion, even in small ways. And so, again, check how it makes you feel when you remember these acts of kindness, both those that you yourself do, and those that have been done to you by others. So it is said that kindness is contagious. Research finds that when one person does an act of kindness, other people who observe it or hear about it feel inspired to do acts of kindness as well. So check if you do feel inspired by remembering these acts of kindness. And then think about some things you can do in your life, even small things, to show kindness to those around you. And imagine the happiness you will feel knowing that you can make someone's life even a little bit easier or a little bit more pleasant. So, as a conclusion to the meditation, see if you can generate a strong intention to bring more kindness into your life, into your interactions with others, both the people you know well, live with, care about, as well as people you don't know so well. So now let's make a mental dedication of the positive energy or merit we have just created by doing this meditation, as well as the prayers and generating an altruistic intention. So through these we have definitely created some good energy, which is the cause of happiness for ourselves in the future, and the cause of higher states of mind like enlightenment. But we can share this positive energy with others, wishing that it will bring happiness to them and help them also go in the direction of enlightenment and help us all reach awakening as quickly as possible. I was just thinking another way we can act kindly, show kindness, is to not scold somebody when they make a mistake or do something dumb. Just be kind to them. Kind and patient.